Good morning, Stampers. Welcome to Technique Tuesday. I'm Tina with Tina's Crafty Ink Spot. Today we are going to make an actual snow globe card. We've actually got this working just like a snow globe. I'm going to show you how to do this so that it'll not leak and will work. And it's a lot of fun to do, and what a card, right? I don't know that you would be able to mail this. You might want to just put it in a package unless it was, insulated pretty well. But we're going to make an actual snow globe greeting card. And to do this, we are using products. Now, this goes live to you next month out of the new holiday catalog. If you want to be able to order out of this now, I would go ahead. If you've been on the fence about being a demonstrator, there's some real specials going on right now where for $99 free shipping, you get $155 worth of products. And you can order out of this catalog for your starter kit. So, little food for thought. I don't usually do sales on my videos, but it's a heck of a deal. Anyway, so we're going to use a product out of this holiday catalog today that is called Still Seams. And it's a snow globe set. And it comes with coordinating dies. So when you order this, make sure you get the bundle because you're going to get 10% off. It's an adorable, adorable set. And in that suite of products are these little plastic domed cups. Now they fit the dies and everything so that you'll be able to pop these out of your card. And you can do them with just glitter, or you can do them like I'm doing here today. So you're going to need those. You're also going to need, in the catalog is going to come some new ice stamping glitter. This is a little bit thicker than ultra fine, and it's just beautiful, stunning. So we're going to need some glitter. Also in that suite comes these snowflake sequins. Let me see if I can open this without spreading them everywhere. But it's got little tiny snowflakes and some different colored glitter. So we're going to use just a little bit of this. I'll put the lid on it because I'm guaranteed to drop it. So we need the glitters we're going to use. You also need some E6000 glue. You can get this at the craft store. It's a super intense adhesive. Now, granted, these cups have built-in adhesive on them, but I don't think it's gonna be strong enough to seal for water. So we're gonna use the E6000 to seal out the water, or seal in the water. Sorry about that. You're also gonna need some distilled water. I just put some distilled water into a water bottle. You could probably use regular water, but I'm just going to use distilled. And you also need glycerin. Now, you can get this glycerin at any of the craft stores. This one was only $4.99 for this huge bottle. You don't use a lot of it in any of your projects. You can use it to make real snow globes, which we might do another tutorial of, where you use mason jars to make actual snow globes. Now, I did see on the internet some people use baby oil in the place of glycerin. I can't attest to whether that works or not. The idea of glycerin or baby oil is that when you're shaking a snow globe, you kind of want your flakes to move slowly. See what I mean? So when you're using an oil or the glycerin, it just kind of slows down your flakes. See there? Okay. So you're going to need your glycerin, your distilled water, and a couple of straws. And I'm using straws because I don't have any small eyedroppers. So these work great. So if you don't have an eyedropper, if you have an eyedropper, it might work even easier, but I'm going to show you how to use straws to do this. And I have a little glass here. It's right out of my kitchen, and it's the size to where my little globe will fit flat on there. Now, if you do this on the table, you see it kind of rocks because it's got a rounded bottom. So you want it to stay flat. So all I did is I found a glass that I'm going to set that flat on. And you also need your embossing buddy, because what we're going to do with this is, now plastic usually has static. So all I'm going to do is take my embossing buddy before I remove any adhesive or anything, and just kind of wipe the inside of this dome just to get the static out of it. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to set it there. Now I have a pair of tweezers. Now before we start, so that we're not trying to take this has adhesive on both sides. So if you were putting it in a card, it would stick to your card base, and if you did an overlay paper, it would stick to that. So that's what these are. These are adhesive. So on this back side, I'm going to remove this adhesive. Now, we're going to add adhesive to it because we're adding water. If you were just doing glitter, this would be enough adhesive. But we're trying to get a watertight seal with this. So I'm going to remove this adhesive protector. And then I'm going to lay it on my glass so it's flat. I'm going to go ahead and add my E6000 bead all the way around this. Okay. Now when you use this, use it in a ventilated space. It's kind of stinky. So what I want to do is I want to take and put a bead all the way around here. Now try to go, I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. Try to go a little bit to the outside, because we're gonna smush this adhesive flat. But so we're gonna put a nice size little bead right along the edge there. I'm just trying to hold it in place here with my finger. Get a nice solid bead. You want it solid because we don't want any air holes in the seal. Now when you use this E6000, if you haven't used it before, they tell you to let it set, so many seconds or whatever before you attach whatever you're attaching to it anyway. So that'll work good for us. So we have a nice, solid, no gap. Make sure you have plenty. Okay, so we've got our adhesive on there. I'm going to square it off onto my glass here. Now this is where the straws come in. So I'm going to take a straw because I don't have a dropper. And when you stick your straw into the bottle, okay, it's a regular straw, put your finger over the top of it, and when you pick it up, it's holding all the water in the straw. So we're just going to move that over and drop it into our little plastic there. Now you want to fill this almost all the way full. And be careful. I mean, it's not going to hurt to get water on the adhesive, but I would try not to. I would try not to get water on that adhesive. So we're going to fill our little cup with water. And I see where I missed some E6000 on here, so I want to make sure I have that bead nice on there. Because we're going to want it to ooze out of this outside, so I want to make sure I have plenty on there. Okay, so I'm going to continue filling my little cup with water. Just put your finger on it, and when you, oops, I let go of it. It just creates a suction, and then when you let go, it adds water. So you're going to want to try to get that as full as you can. Now we're almost to the top, but when we add the glycerin, it's going to displace it a little, so it's going to raise it. So we're going to do the exact same thing with the glycerin, okay? We're going to stick the straw in the bottle, pick some up, hold your finger over it, and drop it into your water. And I'm just letting it drip in there. Now I didn't really find where how much you should use. I'm adding, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon, maybe. I think the more glycerin you use, probably the slower your flakes are going to go, I assume. So I'm just going to add a little touch more. And you can lightly stir it around in there. You'll be able to kind of see it. Okay, now we're going to set that aside. Got our glycerin in there. Now we're going to add our glitter. And you figure you're going to want your glitter to where it's maybe a 1/4 of an inch filling the bottom. So just kind of guess on what that would be. I'm just sprinkling some on here. And then I wanted to add some of my snowflakes. So I'm just going to take a pinch of those. Now try not to get your glitter onto your adhesive because that'll cause an air gap. So I'm just going to add a couple pinches of that one. Oops, I got a little snowflake there. Let's put that in there. Now if you look from the edge, you can kind of see our water is level with the edge, okay? If you want, you can tap that glitter down in there a little bit. Now we also have, I don't remember if I told you at the beginning, you're going to need a piece of window sheet. And what I've done is cut a piece of window sheet that is larger than my item. So this is about, for this cup, this is 3.5 by 3.5, okay? So we're going to take our window sheet and we're going to lay it right over the top of that, okay? And now we've got the cup under there, and we're going to gently push down and ooze that glue to make a seal. Kind of push toward the outside so it's oozing out this side and not as much on the inside. So just gently go around the edge. And now if you lightly push in the middle, it's going to get the air out. So now we're just going to go around the edge. And I've got the cup underneath there, so it gives me a firm place. I'm going to zoom in to see if you can see this. Okay, see how I'm making sure that it goes all the way to the edge? Just keep kind of squishing it and make sure you have a solid seal there. I'm using the edge of the cup to kind of give me the pressure. And I'm kind of rolling it out toward the edge. So it's going to be okay if it seeps out this side. See, we got a little air bubble there, so I'm just going to push it out and seal my edge. Now I have a pretty good air bubble there, so what I'm going to do is just lightly lift an edge and push in the middle. And there we go. Now, we're going to let this set for 12 to 24 hours and we'll come back and build the card. Okay, gang, it's been about 12 hours and we have our snow globe. Don't feel any water leaking. Got a really good seal here where we squeezed our E6000 through there. And you can see if you happen to get a little of the E6000 where it squeezes to the inside, you're going to have a little bit of glitter that might stick there. But you know what? It's not going to really show. Okay, so here's our actual snow globe. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a pair of snips and we're just going to trim around that. It doesn't have to be really precise because this is going to be hidden. This backside is going to be hidden. So we're just going to trim our window sheet away. And then we've got that. So now we've got our card base, which is an A2 Whisper White. There we go. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 folded. There you go. So we got our card base, and then I did a little bit of the Seaside Mist here as a mat. I just want a really thin mat. So I've cut that at 4 by 5 1/4. And now this is our piece of designer series paper that comes from the, what is it? What's the name of this one? Feels Like Frost. Look at this paper. Are you not in love? Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? This is 6 by 6 designer series paper. The backside, foils, silver foils. So pretty. This has to be one of your favorites on the list of the holidays catalog. You could simply take one of these images, just put a vellum greeting on it, and it's done. This is just beautiful. It's realistic imaging. So anyway, okay, I'm all excited about that, can you tell? Anyway, I took a piece of that, and now I've cut this just under the 4, so it's about an 1/8 inch smaller than the 4 by 5 1/4. So I have a really thin mat. Okay, so we're going to work on this piece because this is the one where our snow globe's going to go. So you figure out which direction you want this to go. Obviously, I want my pine boughs going down. So you're going to take your snow globe and decide where you want it. So I want it about there because I've gone ahead and in the die set comes the base. Okay, so I cut this piece out. It's the detailed part of the base in silver foil. And then I did a Night of Navy background that'll go with it. Oops. That'll go with it. Okay. And then we're going to need this because this will cut out the hole for our snow globe to fit through. So we'll need that one. So we have these two. If I can literally pick them up off my desk. And I'll glue those two together. So you have the silver with a Night of Navy background. The reason I went with Night of Navy is there's a little bit of Night of Navy in this designer paper. So I thought, well, let's pull out some of the dark. So we have those two. We'll put those together. So if you want, you can put your, kind of lay your stuff to figure out about where you're going to be. Okay? So it's going to be about like that. And in the stamp set, we have the greetings, season's greetings. Okay? So what I did is I stamped the season's greetings on a piece of the Night of Navy so that we can coordinate. And I stamped it in the new silvery shimmer metallic ink. Love. Okay, this is a short version of silver embossing. So all I did is stamp that on a scrap of Night of Navy. Okay, trimmed it down. And that's going to go about toward the bottom of our sheet. So you kind of want to lay out your card so you about know where everything's going to be. Now you got to remember, when you cut this out, it's going to be to the inside of this plastic piece, okay? So we're going to move that up, and I should just glue these together, but this is probably going to sit about there, and then our little greeting will fit right at the bottom. So now I know where I need this to be, so I'm going to move everything away, make sure it's kind of centered on the page, and then just take a pencil and lightly draw around your globe. Oop. Okay, so we've got our globe, and you can see the pencil mark really lightly. I want to be able to erase it. And then you're going to take your snow globe piece, and you're going to line it up, and it's going to go centered inside of the circle that you just drew. Okay, so try to center it there. I don't know if you can see my pencil mark or not. So kind of center it there, and then we're going to die cut it real quick. I'm going to run over here and die cut it. Okay, so we've got our die cut. See, we cut out the space for our dome. And since this is going to show, you can just take your eraser and erase your pencil mark. It's just kind of a guide so you know where to put your die. Okay, so we've got our DSP cut. Now, remember I told you there's adhesive here on this side also. Okay, this is your domed side, and then there's your flat side. So there's adhesive there. We don't want to take that off yet. So now in the set, we're going to create the scene that's going to be inside of our globe. So I wanted the little house here. So what I did is I just stamped it in Memento Black and a coordinating die right here, and I cut it out. Okay, so now we're just going to color it real quick. I have some Stampin' Blends, and I'm just using Real Red. So let's, I'm going to use the dark Real Red. I'll zoom in here a little for you so you can see the coloring. It's really simple to color because it's such a small image. So I'm going to do a little bit of my dark, and I use the smaller tip on this one. I'm just going to add some dark highlights on my house. I wanted a red house because you want something that's going to be bold to show through your snow. So let's just color this really quick. Add a little dark highlights in your house a little. Use your dark highlights are going to be, you know, under your shaded areas, under the eaves of the house, maybe this wall right here that's kind of offset. We'll put a little shading there. It's not going to show a lot. It's just a good habit to get into when you're coloring with your light and dark blends, to just kind of do everything the way you would normally want to do it on a larger image, and then you get used to doing it. As you see you color quite quickly. Okay, so we're just going to do the red on our house here. Okay, we got our house done there. That was pretty quick, right? Now we're going to take, that was Real Red, the two colors of Real Red. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of the light Mango Melody, and I want my windows to be glowing. I want there to be a fire going on in that house. They're sitting there in the winter and the fire's going. So we're going to make those windows yellow. And then I have a little bit of light soft suede here. I'm going to take the other tip. And we're going to have a brown door. Got to have that wood door. You know, you're out in the woods. We got our wood door. And for the trees, these little trees, when you see it, have little tiny branches, and the blends are a little bit thick to get so fine. So all I'm using is my soft suede Stampin' Write marker, and I'm just gonna color the stems of those trees real quick. The point's so nice and fine on these Stampin' Write markers, you can just make pretty short work of this. I'm going to color our trees a little bit. Okay. Now, for the pine tree here and the bush, I am just going to use the light mossy meadow. There's not a lot of space there for green because of the snow that's on them. So you can kind of almost just touch your marker to them and it's going to color it for you. Not a lot of coloring involved because the way the blends bleed, it's just kind of touch your marker to it and it's going to fill it in. Leave your little snow pieces there. They did such intricate detail on this die, or this stamped image, that it's really attractive. I mean, there's such detail. Okay, so we got our tree, everything colored. Let me grab just a little bit of blue. I think I'm going to go to stay with our theme. To stay with our theme of our paper, I'm just using the light Seaside spray. And I'm just going to add, remember I told you when you're coloring stamped images, the way Stampin' Up's done it is these little shade marks are where your highlights are going to go. They have taken all the guesswork out of where your shadows should go. So basically, those are the shadows that we're creating. So we're just going to go right along those little shadows. And look at that. You've already got your shadows done. And just because I'm going to add a little bit of Winka Stella on my snow. Oops, I missed part of my tree here. There's a branch here on the tree I didn't. There we go. There we go. So I'm just going to add a little bit of Winka Stella on the snow. Just going to help it a little. And then, of course, you know, your roof is snow covered, so let's put a little Winka Stella on there. There we go. Then we're going to do the snow on the ground. Maybe a little on that little bush there. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. I forgot to do the little walkway. I'm just going to do a little tan walkway here. There we go. Now, you have your image to go into your snow globe. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my snow globe over. And now you do not need a lot of this. You just need it to be able to stay on there because remember, it's going to be sticking to the card base. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my Tombow glue and just put a few dots on the front side of the image, okay? Just right along the edges. You don't want too much. You just need it to stay in place. So we're just going to add a little bit of Tombow glue there. I wouldn't use tape because the tape runner often shows through. Okay. So now, figure out when your snow, do your snow globe, let your snow go to the bottom. Figure out where the snow fits on the land there. See? And then just put your image right behind there. Just put it right on your snow globe. See there? So it looks like it's in the snow globe. Okay? And with using the Tombow glue, you have a little bit of leeway to move that image around a little. Okay, so there we go. We've got that. Now, we are going to take the, as soon as I find my, let's do this. We're going to take that adhesive off the ring here. Okay, it's easier said than done for me today. All right, I need my tweezers. Hold on a minute. So now you're going to take this adhesive off. See there, it comes off. Oops. Oh, and we have a runner right onto the floor. Well, that's an attestment to the glue is dry because it's not leaking and I just dropped it. So lay it down and then just line your paper up on it. And the way the die cut works, it just fits perfectly over it. Push it down onto your adhesive. See there? Look at that. Okay. My glitter all, when I dropped it, it got all to the top. Okay, now we're going to make our base. And all I did is the silver chrome and Night of Navy. I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on there. Went a little crazy with the adhesive there, didn't I? That's alright, I'll be able to wipe that out of there. Okay, so we've got our little base. And now we're just going to glue that directly down. You could probably use dimensionals if you wanted to. Should we? Should we use dimensionals? I'm not sure that it matters. I think if you put it down, it'll look more round. But you could do it either way. If you wanted to put dimensionals behind this, yeah, you could do that. I'll zoom out here for you a little. And I'm going to put my little base there. And we have our snow globe. And then what I did with the greeting, now I always cut my greetings a little large. And then I can just lay it where I want it and then trim it off. So we're going to do that. And this is Night of Navy. And then used the silver ink. And I'm going to leave just a tiny little space right here at the bottom of my designer paper just for effect. Okay, so we got that in place. We'll turn it over and trim it off. Okay, now we got our mat. So now, let's go ahead and put a little bit of glue right here on this guy. And then all the way around your, make sure you get your corners well, so everything stays down. You can even put a little bit on the edges of that if you wanted to. I think I'm running out of glue. I'm a glue person. I'm not very good at tape. You could also use your double-sided tape for this, but if you glue things correctly the first time, they're going to stay. And I like to be able to move my stuff a little bit by using glue. When you use two-sided tape, once you're down, you're down. So we're going to line this up. Well, I got glue all over me that time. I'm going to line this up on our mat. And then this just goes onto our card base. Since there's so much dimension with the globe itself, popping up your mats may not be necessary. You're going to end up with a little bit too much thickness already anyway. And just put this right on our Whisper White mat. Make sure everybody's glued down well. And there you go. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Look at this shaker card. So like I said, I don't think you can mail this with the water in it. You could if you put it in, you know, like a box with gifts or something like that where you can put it in a little bubble envelope or something. I mean, a lot of pressure on that may just cause it to leak. So that, or it's a good card to just hand somebody if you're going to a party or something like that. Now to finish our card, for the inside, I stamped our greeting on a piece of 3 3/4 by 5, and I did put this one on a mat. By doing this for the inside of our card, because the front is so heavy, matting the inside helps offset the weight so that the card will stand up when your recipient has it. So we're just going to mat this. And this is a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 Seaside Mist. So we're going to mat that. And then in the set are these tiny little snowflakes. And just to coordinate with it, we'll just go with the little Seaside Mist here. I often like to carry my designs to the inside of the card. It just adds that, you know, finishing touch. And it's something as simple as doing that. Little snowflakes and our greeting. So we're going to put that on the inside. I think I'm low on glue on this video. That's okay. You don't need a lot of glue when you use glue, but I'm a glue person. So we're just going to lay that on the inside. And see, that kind of offsets it to where the card will stand up much easier. Because this is heavy, it's water. And now for the outside, I just went back to our little snowflake sequins. We're going to use a couple of those little snowflakes. Let's just put a little dab of glue here. And maybe here and here. And my favorite little take your pick tool. And we're just going to pick up a couple of these little snow sequins. Might be able to do it a little better with my spatula here because this is super fine sequins. Put little snowflakes there. Oops, picked up an extra one there. And then just for giggles, I have these little miniature sequins. These are actually, I'm not even sure where I've got them. I had them for years. But they're nail gems. You know how sometimes you just want a tiny little piece of sequins? Well, these are nail sequins. So that's where these came from. And we've already got a little bit of glue coming through the dots there, except for this one right here. Give a little dab of, there we go. I'm just going to pick up a couple of these little sequins. Maybe. Right in the middle of our, they're super tiny. Like I told you, these are for doing nail art when you paint your nails. I used to do a lot, you know, painting my own nails, but well, now I'll just use these for crafting. They're pretty tiny and tedious to deal with. Matter of fact, they may not even work here. Let me put a couple out. Do that work. There we go. They're sticking to my finger more than they are me. So sometimes they may not be worth messing with. There we go. You can usually find these little tiny things at like the drugstore by the nail area where you get your nail polish remover and stuff like that. But I'm kind of a attention to the detail at the end of your cards. I mean, you go to all the work of making these, you might as well just kind of step it up at the end. I don't even know if you can see those on camera. All I'm adding is a tiny little sequence. There we go. To our little snowflakes. And then you've got your inside. There you go. So these, everything you saw today came out of the new holiday catalog. And don't forget, now, right now till the end of August, there's a special going. If you want to save 20 to 25% on all of your Stampin' Up! Items, becoming a demonstrator is the best deal right now. For $99, you actually get $155 worth of products plus free shipping. And if that wasn't enough, they're going to give you a coupon code that's going to come in your email for another $10 off for the following month. I mean, how simple is that? But it's a great deal. And in this offer, if you're signing up, you can actually order out of this catalog, which is not out to the public yet. This is not out to the public until next month. So it's just a thought. I mean, I don't push this stuff very often, but that's a heck of a deal. But anyway, if you're interested, I will put a link that will give you more information about being a demonstrator, that you don't have to do any selling. You literally can buy just for yourself and get the discount. So, but I will put a link in this and on the blog post if you want to look up more information. I'll have a facts on, what it means to be a demonstrator. But here is Technique Tuesday, an actual snow globe card. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy stamping!